Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Perhaps you're not as strong as the Emperor thought.
Hi, Karen!
Welcome back to What the Hell, Karen? A weekly satirical take on Karen and the entire Karen family. Karen's long-lost sister woke up refreshed and ready to meet the new day. Being an advocate for the homeless and even having a charity to make sure they have porta potties, she is frequently at her local municipal building making sure their voices are heard. Well, one voice anyway, as she live streams almost daily.
Hey, Mike. Big G. Static. J Dizzle. Antonio. Yeah, we've had quite an ordeal this morning already. Imagine that. Good old Inglewood, Colorado. Boy, I'll tell you what. It's just the gift that keeps on giving here in Inglewood, so I suppose I'm going to have to be that same gift. What happened, Stacy? Let me tell ya. Well, we just left the courts, Shannon and I. Everybody knows my dear friend Shannon, who's living in a fully legal trailer trying to take care of herself. So a couple years ago, she got charged with the heinous crime of trespassing in Inglewood. She was on foot in a very bad situation and had taken shelter right here, as a matter of fact, right outside these doors, in kind of a enclosed dumpster area, and was trying to stay warm. And she was charged with trespassing and some form of littering since she was next to the dumpsters. So we're trying to clear that up, right? You know, the heinous crime of living homeless and trying to seek safe refuge as a woman. So we are clearing up a warrant. Well, we already cleared up the warrant. And we're here for a second appearance, and the city prosecutor got smart with me because essentially what he was trying to do was railroad Shannon, and I filled her in on what that process was going to entail, and he didn't like it. So he told me I had to leave, and I told him, no, I don't. And so he said he was going to go get the judge, and came back like 15 minutes later with a piece of paper with her deal on it.
Not liking the conditions of the plea deal for her friend, Karen's long-lost sister voices her dissatisfaction and tells her friend not to take the deal. However, her not being a lawyer puts her in a tenuous legal position.
So I put my foot down on that, and he didn't like it. And so he told me I was practicing law. So I wasn't practicing law, and I look like shit today because I'm sick with a sore throat from hell because of the weather. So we're gonna go get his salary. up these grand marble stairs. And we're also going to get the list of associate judges that serve on the bench when Judge Jefferson is gone. I was very pleased with how this judge handled this today. And in Jefferson's absence, I'd like to know who these judges are, just so I have a basic understanding. And during Shannon's hearing, that's only half of it. Then Allied Security, some new girl here carrying a gun, told me that I had to leave and told me that she's protecting the city attorney. So that went really well for her. It didn't. And I told her she needed to call the cops. She didn't do that either. So everybody's bustling around. She's answering the phone, this Allied Security girl going, well, she was, but she's not now. I'm just having a blast. This girl's carrying a gun. Yeah. Only in America, you guys, for living homeless. So, during court, that city prosecutor puts on the record with the judge that he would like her to take some action for the unauthorized practice of law that I was exercising. And she told him no, and that this court has no jurisdiction to do that, and that he would need to take that up with the Attorney Regulation Council, which I'd love to have that. I would love for the Attorney Regulation Council of the Supreme Court of Colorado to take me on for the unauthorized practice of law in the Municipal Court of Englewood, Colorado. Please. Ian Griffin, City Prosecutor, please do it. I dare you.
While Karen's long-lost sister is getting her FOIA requests for the city prosecutors and associate judges' salaries done, she hears some disappointing news from one of these security guards.
I'm sorry?
Spell your first name.
Regan, R-E-G-A-N. Last name Benson, B-E-N-S-O-N. And I'll write down my email for you.
Okay. You want me just to type it in?
Well, I'll just write it, so I don't want to say it on this live stream. Now we got Allied Security following us up here. Thank you. Oop.
Also, is there a contact number?
Yep, writing that down for you as well. Are you coming over here to babysit us?
Nope, just doing my job.
What's your job?
These are little kiosks that's how they keep up with what I do. I have to come
Making
up
your
here.
rounds?
Yeah, that's what it do.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
I do that, and they know I've been here, and I go around the whole building. You know, that's what happens when you got
Hey, who's your
security.
supervisor? Do you have a supervisor on site?
That lady that you were down there.
That lady that was acting like that's the supervisor.
The supervisor.
Damn, that's not good. That's disappointing. The girl with the gun telling me I needed to leave because she's protecting the city prosecutor. She's the supervisor. Allied Security was doing an upstanding job. I will say, in her defense, she did eventually back off, but
Okay, so what documents are you?
so the documents that already exist for all the listed associate judges that would serve in the absence of Judge Jefferson. I would like their names. Yeah. Well, sorry, I could slow down a little bit.
Make sure I captured also all the listed associate judges that would serve in the absence of Judge Jefferson, including
Their names, date of hire, rate of pay.
do you do a similar request to this?
I've never requested any information for judges.
I don't know, for some reason this seems familiar to me. Including. Okay, perfect. And today's date.
And I've got one more if it's not too cumbersome.
We'll file it as two
Two different ones? Okay. Thank you.
Having completed getting her requests for the FOIA information, Karen's long-lost sister takes a look at a standards of behavior poster for the building and has a good laugh with her friend.
Remember, we're in Inglewood, where you have a standards of behavior, and you're not allowed to come in here having any kind of odor. And yeah, so there's tiers of offenses. Yeah, you can't have body odor. Did you know that, Shannon?
I didn't know that they did, some.
Oh, yeah.
It's a medical condition.
Yeah,
Can they have that?
unsanitary bodily hygiene, creating a nuisance to or impeding the use of a facility,
Personal possessions are garbage, okay?
including body odor and bugs.
So you can't take any personal property in here, huh? Okay. Failure to wear clothing?
Failure to wear clothing,
Naked grandma's not welcome here.
covering the upper body and genitalia,
It's not allowed.
or failure to wear shoes. I'd like to see them enforce that.
Yeah, right? Sexual conduct? Okay, well, what describes that?
Including sexual activity, simulated sexual acts, and indecent exposure. So if I give you a hug,
Could be sexual.
if we hug here for 15 minutes, while the security guard stands there and watches, look at him.
You wouldn't mind him, okay?
We would. We would fall into the inappropriate behavior tier 1, which may result in a warning, immediate removal, and/or removal exclusion up to 90 days. Now, wouldn't that be something if Shannon and I made it to tier 1 and we were told we could not come to court?
But you're back for 90 days, well, there you go, we need to hug.
We couldn't come to court for 90 days because we...
Let me have any longer than 30 days, it's a miracle that.
So anyway, the clerk, that's Stephanie, very helpful. The clerks are always good here. Remember though, this is a lockdown facility. This is a lockdown facility and you have to report to customer service. Oh, I'm sure you do. That's a good way to put it. He says I'm job security for him. Except the girl with the gun wasn't so entertaining.
See it that way.
And, well, I sure as hell don't see it that way either. She had no authority to be telling me to leave this public building because the city prosecutor got his balls put in his throat. Bottom line. And she stood over me like she was going to take some action, and when she figured out that she probably wasn't going to win that one. Yeah, there's the city prosecutor now, meeting with some girl by herself, poor thing.
Without an attorney consult, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know about that.
What's his name again? Ian. We wrote it down.
Ian something.
So we're going to
Griffin.
be Ian Griffin. Ian Griffin's got a problem with me anyway, and he also
Gryffindor.
Ian Gryffindor. He also put on the record that he found out who I was.
Availing herself of the restroom facilities on her way out, Karen's long-lost sister gives her phone to her friend, who finds a security notice. Fresh out of the restroom, Karen's long-lost sister seems to take issue with the security notice, as well as other things.
Oh, what's that sign?
This one's not quite as good, but nothing's allowed in here. Shopping carts or trash bags, camping gear.
Multiple backpacks.
What if I got 2 backpacks? What if I got a suitcase?
What if you have to come to court and bring all of your damn belongings with you because the city's going to throw them all away if you leave them?
Yeah.
So you can't come to court? Yeah, fuck off, Inglewood. I need to sit here all day long. I need to occupy this space all damn day long for a week straight and watch everything that goes on. Because, you know, it's for the children.
Yeah, this crooked little town's doing everything for them.
For the children. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
As Karen's long-lost sister and her friend are in her car, they can't stop talking about the security supervisor and her gun and the city prosecutor.
So, didn't have any problems getting through security, which was good. So she passed there. She asked me to open my wallet because my phone was inside of it. So I did do that. She asked. She didn't just pick it up and do it. So that was good. So she passed there. But she did not pass the smell test when the city prosecutor decided that he had the authority to tell me to leave. So she came over and stood this close to me. I've got a recording of it, and I am going to publish it. I don't know her name. Did we catch her name?
I don't know.
Miss Supervisor's name. Let's see if I'll go ask these guys if they'll give me their supervisor's name. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody saying hi. Okay, Regan's back. Yay!
That was easy.
Enough of me.
No.
There we go.
It's never enough of Shannon.
Yes, it's
Shannon's
always
such a
enough of me.
trooper, you guys. Oh my God. I was late this morning picking her up. Thank goodness she called me. Said, hey,
That's a
Regan,
Christmas miracle that I was even awake.
to be here at 8:30 in the morning.
That's what the fuck.
I didn't sleep good last night, so
I had
we
thought
made
of that,
it.
but that's okay.
We made it. We were only 15 minutes late, which is really not considered late yet. So we made it.
Well, they were an hour late getting us in there, so you know.
Yeah. Well, and
As far as I'm concerned, we were there.
I think that was all the fault of Ian, the
Probably.
prosecutor, because
He's too busy being a Gryffindor and whatever. the fuck he is.
Ian Griffin went storming off because he told me to leave.
Stomped up with the panties in a bunch. The man wore some bright pink little panties because they were all bunched up. All bunched up. It was like a guy on a bike with a bitch bell. Ding, 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 I gotta go. That's how he reminded me of. That's okay.
He goes storming off because
You
I
wouldn't
said,
leave.
I ain't leaving. I said, go get the judge. I'll leave if the judge tells me I have to leave.
Yeah.
Sometime later, Karen's long-lost sister is back at the municipal building and just can't stop obsessing about and recording the city prosecutor. She also has to show the number to his office, which I blurred out in this video, as a way of telling her supporters to mass call his office without actually saying it verbally, of course.
Oh, look, it's Ian Griffin's office. That dirty little snake that's trying to have Regan prosecuted and persecuted. Oh, there he is, sitting in his office. Sitting there in his office. Get a good look. Ian's busy. Ian's busy being a little bitch. Being a little crybaby bitch. Yeah, he'll. She's harassing me. She's harassing me with her camera. She's harassing me. Where's all the Allied stuff? Wow, it's awfully empty in here today. No problems. Go figure.
That tenuous legal position that Karen's long-lost sister is in has now sprouted legs, and she is trying to stay ahead of it before it overtakes her.
So, those of you that joined me the other day when I was doing the information request for any information request done for information containing my name, I got that half of the information back. And it turns out that they're citing attorney privilege. There was one email that their IT department hunted down, but it was done by a member of the city attorney's office. Well, Ian Griffin is part of the city attorney's office because he reports to the city attorney. So they're telling me they can't give me that email because it's just confidential. Now, isn't that interesting? So when we come to City Council here Monday to ask City Council why they weren't in an executive session with the City Attorney's Office to pursue litigation against an individual, how all of a sudden does that communication become private? You see what's going on here? Unreal. So that's one aspect of what we're going to continue to dive into as the investigation plays out, we'll just say, okay?
One way Karen's long-lost sister is staying ahead of her tenuous legal position is to go to her city's city council meeting to express her concerns over what she considers malicious prosecution and her vendetta against the city prosecutor.
Reagan Benson, here to address council regarding malicious prosecution. Good evening, Ms. Benson. If you could state your name and your address or your
Good evening, Mayor Sierra and members of City Council. My name is Reagan Benson. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this evening. You don't need my address. It's irrelevant. I want to get right to the point. I do think you have an approachable city manager, Mr. Lewis. And had we been able to resolve this issue, I wouldn't be here tonight on the topic of malicious prosecution. But it appears it is out of Mr. Lewis's authority, since the topic of my malicious prosecution is coming out of your city attorney's office. In my work as the executive director of my own nonprofit, Helping Hands for Dignity Coalition, a recognized 501c3 in the state of Colorado that focuses on direct street outreach with the homeless community, I'm often venturing into the Inglewood municipal courts to assist my clients in clearing warrants. I provide transportation for court hearings and assist them in compliance with sentencing conditions imposed by the courts. Inglewood is notorious for criminalizing homelessness. In many cases, this freezes my work. It makes it impossible for me to continue to help my clients reach attainable goals. Therefore, first and foremost, in the interest of justice, I provide the resources your city is unwilling to provide by ensuring my clients can, first off, get to court, and secondly, have the appropriate advocate at their side to remind them that they do, in fact, have rights. This is called speech, and far too many in government absolutely despise honest speech. And in too many notable occurrences, government works overtime by abusing its power to silence people it cannot stand to listen to. Inglewood knows about this. Inglewood has been sued over this very issue of free speech. And again, that's what is occurring here in Inglewood through your city attorney's office with a specific employee you just hired last September by the name of Ian Griffin. Ian's taxpayer-supported title and salary is city prosecutor at the rate of $41.90 an hour. That's a cheap attorney. That's a heck of a bargain for the going rates of attorneys. One might be positioned to think you've hired an attorney that's a poor performer in the private sector. It makes me laugh while simultaneously being aggravated because the attorney that I'm having to hire to take on your $42 an hour attorney is worth $500 to $1,000 an hour. Why am I having to do this? Your $42 an hour attorney, city employee, in his official taxpayer-supported position, is accusing me, a private citizen, of the unauthorized practice of law. And apparently here in the city of Inglewood, you all have rearranged your city charter and allow your city employees to pursue this type of litigation without any legal advice. It is, in fact, litigation with a private citizen at the highest level of court in our state. This allegation will be investigated by the Attorney Regulation Council at the Colorado Supreme Court level with the possibility of sanctions. And this is a very serious allegation, and I am, of course, going to hire the very best legal counsel, listen carefully, that will, in fact, work on my behalf to file claim against the city for allowing these actions. How will my attorney fees initially be paid? By my nonprofit that relies solely on private donations to support the good work that I do. My donors are not happy. My donors are not happy knowing that monetary resources earmarked for direct street outreach now have to be shifted and used for attorney's fees in this insanely ridiculous attempt to silence my speech and derail the very important work that I do. City Council, did you know this was happening? Did you vote to go into executive session on this topic? Did you go into executive session to receive that legal advice on what it means for your city employee, Ian Griffin, representing the city of Inglewood, in an attempt to have me sanctioned by the Colorado Supreme Court for the heinous act of free speech? Did you come out of executive session and vote to pursue this type of litigation against me? I don't think you did. But I do intend to continue to use due process through the city clerk's office and open records requests. I will be making a lot of visits to Inglewood. I don't enjoy being here. I'm going to be really honest with you, but it's crucial to the important work that I do with my clients, and which, by the way, I want you to know you have an outstanding city clerk staff. They're responsive, professional, thorough. It's appreciated. You know what else is appreciated in your city government? The fact that so far no one in Inglewood appears to be as foolish as city council members in Sheridan. Woohoo!
Any questions from members of council? Thank you, Ms. Benson.
Karen's long-lost sister has yet another court date with her friend. While she and her friend wait for her friend's court-appointed public defender, she checks out what's on the docket for that day.
Well, that's good to know. They're going to call to remind people of their court dates, because nobody wants to show up to court to Inglewood because they get railroaded by this city prosecutor. Yeah, right here. Oh, there's Ian. He's peeking around the corner. Now he's hiding. Now he's hiding. So I see no public defender here. It's 9:30. These are things we need to document. Here's going to be another interesting one. I'd like to understand these people's residency status, if they're housed or not. Trespass. All for trespassing. This is Inglewood. That they want to use the courts to criminalize. And, that's going to solve homelessness. There's no court navigator here this morning for any of those types of cases. And remember, it is the court navigator that's supposed to help these people through due process. And instead of doing that, they're on Ian Griffin's witness list to testify against me.
Continuing her vendetta against the city prosecutor, Karen's long-lost sister makes it a point to shame him for simply putting on his tie as he gets ready for court. And, of course, can't stop bringing up how much he makes per hour and why she thinks he has to work for the city instead of in the public sector.
Oh, he's putting his tie on. Look at him. Why don't you go in the bathroom, dumbass? That's Ian. He makes $41.90 an hour. And wants to have me prosecuted by the Attorney Regulation Council. Fucking moron. Can't even get dressed. Well, Brian, in all fairness, it's $41.90 an hour, not just $40. You okay?
I'm good.
Yeah?
He's bathroom first time
Yeah,
morning.
I do
It's
too.
like, oh, crap.
Oh, look who it is. Fucktard of the year. Can't even fucking get dressed before he gets to work. He's that fucking stupid. Oh, look, he's gonna go approach somebody else and she's telling him she's got a caseworker. Little fucker.
Sad little man.
He's in there fucking tying his tie. He can't even get dressed for work appropriately. Our public defender better be back in there, in that room.
Let's help. we're putting it on another week.
Bokomo, thank you very much. Give a fuck, send a buck. And Cap, good. How are you doing today? There's fuck up of the year. Ian Griffin. Attorney, prosecutor for the city of Inglewood, making $41.90 an hour. City council are elected as well as district attorneys. Vote better. Amen. White Wolf, thank you very much. Yeah, where is Shannon's public pretender? I don't know. Let's hope they're a defender, not a pretender. They do bring a lot of pretenders in here. They brought one in here one day.
That's all I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of them, no doubt about it. But there are some good ones. There are. And I have never been overly impressed with anything Inglewood's provided as far as a public defender, at least in what I've seen in a couple of cases. The last one we dealt with was with Phoenix, Nicole's boyfriend. And he spent the whole morning in there and then walked out here. Well, we were here for a good 20 minutes. He was in there the whole time because I saw him come and go straight in there. Never even came to talk to Phoenix. Goes straight in there, comes out, finds Phoenix, figures out who he is, and tells him that he needs to plead guilty because of his criminal history. And, you know, I participated in the unauthorized practice of law by telling Phoenix and reminding Phoenix that he has a right to competent counsel. And so that attorney is also on Ian Griffin's witness list to testify against me. even though the judge granted Phoenix a new public defender. Yeah. And Ian worked very hard to put on the record how competent this guy was.
Okay.
Because he sat in his office, you know, who knows doing what, in his office, helping him tie his tie.
Phone call, so I'm sure it's gonna be the same thing. They got somebody there to put on you.
Oh, yeah. So, what Ian wants to do is have me prosecuted for speech. That's the bottom line. So, ain't gonna happen.
Well, thank you for coming.
Not one time ever have I represented anyone, made any actions to represent anyone, filed any motions, had any conversations with judges. Nothing, ever. Not one time. In my whole life. I won't even represent myself going into court. So now Ian's, you know, back there making some deal.
Karen's long-lost sister, back at the municipal building again, sits in her car and vents about the city prosecutor and the public defender appointed to her friend's case.
Here's some really interesting information. And there aren't going to be that many notifications that go out on this live stream, but because it's my second stream of the day. So when we last left, we were here this morning with Shannon to go into court. And when we walked into the courtroom, last you knew, her public defender hadn't shown up. This gets really good, you guys. Really good. Hashtag fuck Ian Griffin. That's the title of this stream. So continue those hashtags. FUK. Hashtag FUKIANGRIFFIN. So we go into the courtroom and old Mr. Baldy Boy says something to the judge or the clerk about make sure the Zoom blah blah blah. So Shannon gets this attorney on Zoom in the courtroom, right? And his name is Kevin Flesh. That is his name. Okay. So Kevin Flesh has a firm, an attorney firm, okay? And it's right here next to the Inglewood Municipal Courts. The true story, you guys. So, of course, he has attorneys working in his firm, and one of them apparently was assigned to this case and had an emergency in Thornton, which is an hour and a half north of here in traffic. Had an emergency in Thornton, just had to be there, right? Sure, okay. We didn't forget about your case, and we didn't forget it was assigned to our firm. No problems. We'll just call the courts the day of Shannon's court hearing, where she's already been issued this public defender who never got in touch with her, okay? So Kevin Flesh himself is on Zoom. So he ultimately says he's there to represent her as she's in custody. You guys, you can't make this stuff up, okay? You just can't make it up. So I'm just sitting in the gallery. Shannon and I are just sitting in the gallery. Of course, the judge calls her up there, Judge Jefferson. And you guys, I have to laugh. I just can't deal with this stupid shit. So he goes on, the judge goes on to put everything on the record, and Ian starts having a breakdown because he wants a trial date right now because Miss Benson has video and it shows that she's guilty, and I want a trial date, Judge. This court hearing, I requested it. I have to go through the process because remember, you can't have this kind of transparency in the courtroom. You have to pay. So I requested the hearing. I am going to publish this hearing. Okay, it is a public court hearing. Any of you can come watch this shit go down live. Okay, so Ian's throwing a fit about me once again. And poor Shannon. Okay, here's the not funny part. This piece of shit is going to use Shannon and the issue of we are going to solve homelessness by criminalizing the shit out of them. Attempt to get a win. That is Ian Griffin's motive, to get a win and to take me down. And unfortunately, Shannon is caught right in the middle. So he wants to punish her hard. He thinks he is going to punish her hard.
Of course, she has to steer what is going on with her friend back onto her for being in a tenuous legal position for giving her friend advice to not take the plea deal she didn't like. And of course, she continues to shame the city prosecutor for merely putting on his tie in his office because she has no clue what it's like to have to wear a suit and tie at her job.
So the judge is going through the process of scheduling another pretrial conference. You've got this attorney on the screen. Nobody has even asked Shannon what the hell has gone on. Nobody's even talked to her, okay? Nobody. And so you've got this attorney on the screen talking jumbo about, if Miss Moore wants to waive her speedy trial rights, blah, blah. So you got all this shit going down. And here's poor Shannon standing at the podium. And so ultimately, the judge takes control of all of that. And that's not enough for Ian. That's not enough for Ian. You guys saw him on the live stream walk out after he got dressed and took a bath in his office. He walked out into the clerk's, behind the clerk's window, and what he was doing, and I forgot it. Damn it. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on my community tab. So watch for that a little bit later. I'm going to post it. He was getting a subpoena. He was getting a subpoena ready for, who do you think? Who do you think he was trying to subpoena right there in the middle of a hearing? Any guesses? First one wins. Come on. First one wins the internet today. Who do you think that little piece of shit was trying to subpoena in the middle of Shannon's hearing? Ooh, big strike of lightning. Oh, here we got Mr. Allied security guards coming out here. It never ends. It never ends. They're not looking this way, though. Don't worry. He's hanging on to the metal pole as lightning fills the sky. Oh, he just gave me a little wave. They're watching my live streams. This is what they do. This is what the taxpayers are paying these idiots to do. Who guessed? Who guessed first? Who was he trying to subpoena? Look at that. You're all correct. Who was the first one? Liberty Blair. Liberty Blair wins the internet today. So he subpoenaed me in the middle of this trial, or in the middle of this hearing, and I guess he thought he was going to get some grand reaction. And I stood up out of the gallery, walked over to him, put my hand out.
Karen's long-lost sister continues to vent in her car, and the more she talks, the more she seems to sound like someone very familiar. You know, someone with red-rimmed glasses that often live streams in his car while driving and holding onto a cell phone with one hand and gesturing with the other hand, and never seemingly touching the steering wheel?
Yeah. So trial is set for May 1st. Okay? Trial is set for May 1st. No. Scratch that. This is what I'm talking. This is why I debated doing this live stream. You guys, I'm so tired and I'm overwhelmed. And I've got to keep my shit. I got to keep my ducks in a row because Ian's screen recording this live stream right now, so he can use it in somebody else's hearings, because we're going to talk about another one of my friends. That's the reason I came back here at this time. Tanya, I'm telling you, this is better than television. You're seeing it live. I wish I could take you with me everywhere all the time, right? So Ian serves the subpoena to me with Judge Jefferson's signature on it. Like this guy is still, he has no clue who he's dealing with. He has no clue who he's dealing with. And he wants to be an egomaniac. And he's going to use homelessness and Shannon's situation to try to be a hero to take me down. He thinks he's going to take me down. In the process, the potential for Shannon to be taken down increases. Luckily, Shannon, she's methodical. Shannon doesn't fully understand the process, but Shannon is very alert. But as always, as I tell all my friends, you should get legal counsel. You have a right to apply for a public defender. You have a right to counsel. Okay? So, there you go. Again, this just reaffirms what I've said about Inglewood, what you see on camera, and what their intended goals are. So the fastest way to take them down is to take me down. Ian's going to be a hero. Ian's going to be a hero for prosecutors everywhere because he thinks he's going to put Regan up on the bench and think that Regan doesn't know how to testify in a court of law. Yeah, you're a fucking tool. All of this, maybe, for $100 fine. Now, in full transparency, the maximum fines in Inglewood, oh, damn it, and I left that at home too. Maximum fines for the municipal crimes in Inglewood are, don't quote me, but I'm in the ballpark, a maximum of up to 360 days in jail and a $2,650 fine for each municipal charge. Those are the maximum penalties in the Inglewood Municipal Court. Okay?
as the venting continues. This time, Karen's long-lost sister is wanting to get information on the city attorney, as the city attorney is the boss of the city prosecutor. She is hell-bent on taking down the city of Inglewood, Colorado, one court officer at a time.
So we're going to now go do a records request, and we're going to learn about the city attorney, his boss. The fuck Ian Griffin boss. Because this is what she does. This is what she does for the city. She hires fucktards like Ian and goes, have at it. While Sean Lewis, the city manager, I run the whole city, but I really don't, because the prosecutor doesn't report to me. The prosecutor reports to the city attorney, which I know is mostly the structure of municipalities, but they all kind of do their own thing. But I figured with all of this stuff that Sean has done with writing all this code in standards of behavior about, what you can and can't do in my buildings, and with Sean's signature, I just figured Sean was really in charge. So, Sean's approachable. He had a meeting with us. We talked about the bathrooms, the easy shit. The totally easy shit. And they give me their little talk and their little run around and blah, 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 blah. But this stuff, Sean responded to me via email and told me, I didn't approve it. He did say, full disclosure, he did say in his email that the city attorney also didn't give Ian approval to go after me for the unauthorized practice of law. So note that in your notes about the Miss City Attorney here in Inglewood, okay? I don't know when she was hired. She has, I don't know. That's what we're going to go find out. I don't know how long she's been here. But we are going to find out about Ian's attorney, boss, who says, I hire you to go into the courts and spend city resources like this. This is what I hire you to do. Okay, I hire you to go after people for the unauthorized practice of law, and then I claim it's because you have an ethical obligation to the courts. I hire you to go after homeless advocates and involve them in the criminalization of the homeless. I hire you to do that. I hire you to go sit in your office and collude with any public defenders that might show up, and you tell them that they're going to go out and tell those homeless folks that they're going to plead guilty to their cases because of their criminal history. That's what I hire you to do, Ian Griffin. So let's go find out who she is exactly. And I'm pretty sure, I know her name is on the Inglewood website. If anybody has a moment and they want to go find that information, it's the city attorney. It's a woman, can't remember her name. But that's who we're going to learn about today. And we're also going to learn about, we're going to do the information request so we can learn more. But we're starting to learn about the city attorney. Let's just say that. So if anybody wants to go find that information, any one of my mods, and put that information in the chat, I'm going to do the records request. We're going to figure out when she was hired, how much she's making, a little bit more about her. And then we're going to find out what the policies and the processes are for putting public defenders on a list that the clerks just randomly call to help get some public defenders here for folks that qualify for them. So, Niles, that's the last name. Yeah, we saw her at the city council meeting, hanging her head the whole time, too, sitting next to Sean Lewis. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did see her, didn't we? Tamara Niles. Yeah, Phyllis, I mean, it's pretty aggravating. And this is not a case about raising hell. This was never a case about raising hell. This is a case about getting Shannon in front of the 8 ball. That's simple. I know what Inglewood's about. I do. And I didn't have a lot of time to put more focus and attention on them because we got a lot of shit going down in Denver too. A lot of projects started over there that require attention. We still have to get folks to homeless court. Denver actually has a homeless outreach court where we can take our friends. We took, I didn't film it, but we took Nicole over there last week. I mean, we just, the balls are always rolling, right? And so, but unfortunately, because Ian's a fucking idiot over here in Inglewood, now they need more attention.
It is time to leave Karen's long-lost sister to her legal woes for now. There will be updates in the future.
Ha, Karen!